Before we get on to the other tips and tricks that I want to show you in Photoshop, there's something specific about Photoshop CS5 in terms of new features that I'd like to show you. There's actually a couple of them here. Now, these aren't big features, nothing that would warrant its own individual movie for each of the features I'm about to show you, but certainly improvements that you should be aware of. First of all, what I'd like to point out is the enhancement with the zoom tool. Now, if you used Photoshop CS4, you know that the zoom tool was enhanced if you had an OpenGL compatible graphics card. If we come over and choose the zoom tool, you know that if you click in an area, you'll magnify to that specific area. And if you hold down the Alt key on Windows, Option key on the Mac, you can decrease the magnification using the reduce zoom tool. Now, what was improved in CS4 is you had the ability to click and hold down to get a constant zoom into that area, and that would work for both magnification and also if you want to decrease the magnification. However, in Photoshop CS5, they introduced a new feature to the zoom tool. It's called scrubby zoom. It sounds kind of funny, but scrubby makes sense. You're kind of going to be scrubbing along the image to increase or decrease the magnification. It's in line with a lot of their sliders that are available in the CS5 suite of products. For example, if we come over and change the name of the background layer to layer 0 simply by double-clicking on the layer and then accepting the default name in the new layer dialog box, go ahead and press enter to accept this or click OK in the dialog box. If you want to change the opacity, you could open this up and you get a slider and kind of scrub the slider back and forth to change that opacity. Well, that same behavior is built into the zoom tool now. If you want to zoom in or zoom out, you can do that by scrubbing across the image. For example, if I click and hold down, I'm pulling to the right, I'm zooming in. If I click and drag to the left, I'm zooming out. So right zooms in, left zooms out, and that's called scrubby zoom, and that's a brand new feature. Something else that's a brand new feature is the ability to save JPEGs if you're working with a camera raw photograph. If we come up to the image menu, under the image menu, if you select mode, if you're working with a camera raw image, chances are it's going to be a 16-bit image. You can't save a 16-bit image as a JPEG. It has to be an 8-bit image. If we come over to the File menu and choose Save As, in previous versions of Photoshop, if it was set to a 16-bit image, you wouldn't have the JPEG option in the Format drop-down menu. Now you do. It's not that you're saving a 16-bit image as a JPEG. Photoshop will automatically reduce it down to an 8-bit image if you go ahead and select the JPEG format. So that's a new feature that can save you a little bit of time and hopefully clear up some confusion. I'll go ahead and cancel out of this. Something else that I want to point out, you'll notice I'm working with several different documents here. Obviously, I can move through these documents if I click on each of the tabs. Now, before, if I wanted to close all of these images, it was a little bit of a hassle if I made changes to each of these images. If you were just messing around with the image and you didn't necessarily want to save it, you're going to have to go through a dialog box for each image if you go to the File menu and choose Close All. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. If you come up to the File menu, and under the File menu you choose Close All, you'll get a dialog box asking you if you want to save or don't save or cancel the close command for this image. But we have several different images open. We asked to close all of them. We would get this dialog box for each individual image that we have open, and it can be kind of a hassle. So here you can check Apply to All. This is brand new in CS5, and then you can either save or don't save those changes, and it'll apply that command to all the open images. So again, just a small time saver that's available in CS5. Again, I'll go ahead and cancel out of this command. Finally, what I want to show you is how you can work with the workspaces. Workspaces are predefined configurations for the interface in Photoshop to best suit working habits. For example, if you're a painter, you can click the painting workspace. The panels will shift around a little bit to give you probably the panels that you're going to be working with the most if you are in fact painting in Photoshop. And there's a whole list of different categories that are available. If you want, you can see all the different workspaces in this button bar up top here. Simply drag this bar that you see right here to the left, and now you can easily toggle between the different workspaces. Finally, what I'll leave you with is there is a workspace called New in CS5, and if you select that workspace, what will happen is all your menus will highlight all the new features inside of Photoshop CS5 with a blue highlight. So this can certainly be helpful if you just bought and installed CS5 and you kind of want to know what's available in the new product that wasn't available in previous versions. And of course, once you're done with that, you're probably not going to work in that workspace all that often. You can come back and click Essentials or whatever workspace that you prefer working in. So just a couple additional quick little tips about how you can work with some of the new features in Photoshop CS5.